Congratulations on the win. Job done. Everyone's going to start talking about the number now. The number you said that you didn't want to think about too much, the 100th title. You're 2 wins away now. What is it going to be like for you going into that match? And does this tournament bring out something special in you to win it here?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of the numbers, this is a massive tournament for the players. Of course, I can only speak for myself, but I've loved, being part of the Tennis Masters Cup at the time today, World Tour Finals. I've always tried to pace myself in a way and set up my schedule in a way that I would have something left in the tank and I would peak at this event. So I'm happy that this is another week like this. It didn't look like it, maybe 72 hours ago, but I was able to come back and play good tennis. Personally, I'm still not thinking of the number 100, and I won't let that, get in my head or make me go crazy, because it should be something I'm excited about and not something I should feel extra pressure. And as long as I think Novak's in the draw anyhow, he's playing so good again. It's never going to be easy, and my next opponent, I don't know who it's going to be. I think it could even be Novak, but I doubt it's going to be. I think it's just going to be hard to finish it, But I'm happy I gave myself the opportunity, and I'm happy that I'm raising my level of play throughout this week, and this is what I hope to do. And it's exciting to be in this situation now, of course, no doubt.
Roger, we saw some breaks against Anderson. How do you analyze that? And apart, you are physically well?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm very happy that I still have energy left in the tank, and that mentally I feel fresh, to be honest. In terms of the breaks against Anderson, you're talking about the service breaks, or what are you talking about? Yeah, I think the first one he kind of gave it to me a little bit. I mean, I had one good connection on the return, then he double faulted twice, so obviously that helped. But still, I was able to get it done. Unfortunately, I had a rocky service game myself after that, but didn't let that, frustrate me or disappoint me. I kept on plugging away, kept on trying. And I think my attitude was good today. I think I had a aggressive playing mindset and a good variation as well with my slice. And I think, it was just a good match from my side, And maybe also for Kevin, maybe it wasn't simple because I knew he was maybe through. This is the round robin concept. This can play tricks on your mind, maybe. Maybe also he's thinking ahead, of the semis. But for me, I always wanted to win this last group stage match, regardless if I was going to go through or not. So for me, it also was fairly straightforward in terms of my mindset going into this match today.
Okay, Roger, did you follow the same receipt as the last match, not practicing on the eve? And how does that play with motivation? Being motivation, to me, the biggest talent there is, the biggest competitive fuel. You've got a couple of euros in the bank and a couple of trophies. How do you manage to be that motivated?
Well, I mean, look, everybody does it differently, and everybody has got different coaches and entourage, that give you different advice. Look, I'm a big believer in vacation. I'm a big believer in taking time off sometimes. But when I do go to work, I go hard and I go the right way, and I go professional about it with my team. I didn't think of taking a day off, to be honest. After the Nishikori match, I thought, what are we going to do? Where are we going to train? I asked them, and they said, well, how about a day off? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm happy for a day off, but it's only if you guys want it. And this is how we took the decision fairly quickly then about the day after Nishikori. And I think as we realized, it actually made me happy. It made me relaxed. It made me also motivated for when I do come on court. That it's working too. We kept that. I didn't practice yesterday, and I doubted that I will practice, tomorrow, because I just think if I can't practice on center court, for me, there's no reason to go now on a different court and, feel a different type of atmosphere. here it's great. I can warm up before the matches, it was great intensity, and I'm ready to go. So, and I played so much in my career and so much this season already, and especially also recently, that we just don't feel the urge of having to work on anything. It's just more, it's all about matches at this point.
You talked after the Nishikori match about the difficulty of adapting between 3 different sorts of court you played, and it's sort of connected with what you've just said. Is that, having stuck just to the centre court, has that sort of improved your rhythm? Do you feel it's improved your game? And is it often a problem when you switch to a new venue?
It's the same for everybody, for every player, but it just gets a little bit complicated sometimes when you're constantly adapting, because arenas change, temperatures change, it's just a different atmosphere. Speeds can be different, they vary, some courts they didn't resurface maybe like the way they did center court, or they didn't do it at the same time and all that stuff. But look, I don't complain, it is what it is, but sometimes when you're seeking rhythm indoors, it can be very frustrating regardless, because it's fast tennis. You don't see that many long rallies anyhow. So I think it's very, very often a mindset, on how you approach, losing a lot of points in a very quick manner. How you digest those points. So for me, this week I'm doing it this way. It's one of the first times I've done it like that. I'm happy it's paying off so far, but I got to be very, very focused the moment I step on court for the practice of the warm-up. I think that's key as well.
Hi, Roger.
Hey.
Since you were in Lille 4 years ago and won the Davis Cup, can you give any advice to Croatians how to prepare to the environment in Lille? It's not quite usual to play in the stadium and things like that. And what do you think about that final, last final in this old format? Thank you.
Well, my preparation wasn't ideal, was anything but ideal. Coming with my massive back pain from here, where I couldn't play the finals, which was a massive disappointment for me. And basically not practicing, I don't believe, until the Wednesday or Thursday before the tie. So I was on edge, the team was on edge, nobody knew if I was going to make it or not on time, but we had a great time in Lille. I do believe in a situation like this, in a finals, with everything that has gone by for a team, it's just super important to have great team camaraderie. And you prepare well as you can. Obviously, for everybody it's complicated to go from hard to indoor clay. So I think that's going to test the nerves a little bit more for the players, especially on Friday. I thought the atmosphere was wonderful. It's a big stadium. I thought it was going to be cold, but they had put these heaters in. So actually, from that standpoint, I think it was quite enjoyable for the fans and the players alike and the teams. And and I think it's going to be a good finals, to be honest. With top players, especially on the Croatian side, and the French always have a very, very solid team. They have a lot of players to draw from that are good on basically all the surfaces. They cover all bases, and both have really good doubles teams. So I think it should be an exciting weekend, and maybe one I'll also peek in to see what's going to happen.
Just had this week Djokovic and Zverev talking about burnout and the longevity of this season. What would you like to be seeing going forward? We've obviously had a new tournament launched today as well for January 2020. What can be done for players to ensure that the players aren't going to be burnt out come November, December?
You can get rid of 20 tournaments. I don't know who wants that, not those 20 tournaments, and not the 200 or 1,000, 3,000 players on tour. So that's one option. Another option is, as a team, player and team, to decide which are your priorities and how much can a body take and how much can a mind take, how much travel can someone endure. And the good thing is we as players are not employed by a club. So I can walk right now out of the door and go on to vacation if I want to. and nobody's going to stop me. I mean, they won't like it, but I can, and that's a massive privilege, I believe, that a tennis player has. And I think we've done a nice job from player standpoint to understand that it's not something we do, out of respect to the fans and the tournament organizers and the sponsors and so forth. So, and also just for the integrity of the game. So there's two ways to look at it. One, it's nice that there's so many tournaments and that when you get injured, you're not like skiing, you're going to miss entire season. The other way, it would be amazing to have 5 months to work on your game. You could really maximize the player you are, your potential you have. Obviously, with the little time we have, there's only so much you can do. So both are positive and negative. But the way the tour is structured right now, I just think you have to be very disciplined within the team to decide what's best for that player, and the player needs to also give his opinion. It's a tricky one, but a good one, because we have a lot of highlights in tennis and we really can't complain.
Yes. Hi. Congratulations. Last night, you know that today there was the ATP Cup presented. Last night, Djokovic said better quality than quantity, just better one event than 2 or 3 team events. Today, Craig Tiley said there are many sports with many 2, 3 events in the same sport in the same year, soccer and so on. So I'd like to know what you think, because they are a little bit in contradiction, I think. And then another thing is, if a player is invited to play the Lever Cup, and later when he goes to the Australian Open, would...
Are you reading? Or?
Yes, because I forget. I'm afraid to forget.
No, okay. I like to listen to him.
You like to listen?
It's like a good night story. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me do it.
Beautiful voice.
So I said, and later when he goes to the Australian Open and would make some kind of request, courts, scheduling, would he be under the spotlight as a conflict of interest? And I'm not talking about you, just in general. One player who is invited to the Lever Cup and then he asks something. Thanks.
Okay, afterwards you have to repeat the second question. It was long, and I missed the beginning because I couldn't believe you were reading, but I get it, because you had to be very precise. The first question was, what did you say? About several team events.
Yes. Djokovic says no.
Well, we haven't seen the new Davis Cup yet. We haven't seen the new World Team Cup yet, which used to exist in Düsseldorf. So, which now is in Australia. They just announced today. So I think we have to wait and see how it is. Like I just finished a question here about it's so nice that we have so many highlights and so many tournaments to choose from, and. Clearly, if the World Team Cup, is going to be held, players will want to play that first week of the year, so you would think that it's going to be exciting. The Davis Cup has unbelievably rich history. You would think that players are going to play that, So from that standpoint, I think there's not that much change, per se, or more tournaments on the calendar. It just happens that there is more... team events, which I think the players are happy about, because I think I remember the IPTL, I remember exhibitions. Sometimes if you make it in a team format, it can be fun. Players enjoy being with somebody else than just fighting for yourself. I see it in their eyes. I remember at the IPTL, I was speaking to a lot of the women's players as well, and they're like, oh my God, this is so much fun for 3 weeks just to, be on a team and support one another, practice with one another. And I think or not you, but I'm just talking in general, you forget how, I don't want to say it's lonely as a tennis player sometimes, but you're always, when you win, like tonight, it's like game, set, and match Federer, you're like, okay, fist pump, that was good, you look to your team and you're like, I'm happy, but you're there on your own. When in a team, like in a Lever Cup, Davis Cup, Hopman Cup, you name it, you're playing for somebody else, something else, a country, a region, whatever it may be, and I think that makes the player quite happy and gives a different feel, that it can actually also fuel you for other ATP events or other just tournaments, and we've seen that the energy that some players brought at the Lever Cup, or we've seen the emotions in Davis Cup, or which we'll see also the World Team Cup in the future. So I see the point. We don't know yet, but as we don't know yet, well, let's wait and see what happens. And the other one about you have to remind me. I'm just sorry, it was so long, and I need to answer precisely as your question was so precise. You even had to write it down. So
anyway, Lever Cup. Someone plays the Lever Cup, and then next January goes to play the Australian Open, and you ask to the same tournament director, can I play in this court instead of other? Can I play at night, early in the morning, something like that? Would he be a little bit under the spotlight, like a conflict of interest, that maybe another player wouldn't like it?
No. I think the tournament will do it in connection with the ATP, check in all the requests with what they always do, with the TV demands. I don't know how much sponsors have to say, to be honest, at a Grand Slam. But usually it's TVs and home market, and they go after that. And I don't know about what all the other players are requesting or if they get asked. So no, I don't worry about that, to be honest. I think sure, there's conflict of interest in this sport. We know it. We know where they are. They've been around for a long, long time, and they will never go away. But I don't think there is any there in this regard. No.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.